Springbok squad for the upcoming Argentina test has been named, folks. The guys being back from injury is absolutely the headline of the squad. I think it's like 10 players who are coming back from some kind of injury for the Boks. These guys are going to get a run in a full test up against the Pumas over in Argentina, which will hopefully be a cracker of a game. Both these squads are looking a bit different from normal. Obviously, the Pumas haven't named their team yet. We'll do a full match preview once the Pumas squad has been named, but they are going to be without a lot of players. It's going to be a very different Pumas team than a team that'll travel to Australia for the World Cup next year. It's going to be a lot of kind of debutants or, guys coming from the Super Rugby Americas competition to face this Boks squad. But for the Boks, getting game time into guys who have been injured and getting guys settled in who maybe aren't regular starters or current World Cup winners, who are the guys who have been introduced into the squad, to settle them in seems to be the focus for Rassie. We'll go through the squad pretty quick, what I'm happy with, kind of a first impressions, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. I do want to mention up front, though, if you haven't seen the press conference, Rassie does a pretty good job these days of answering the questions the journalists ask him without dismissing their questions, and also making sure that his words, I feel like, are not misconstrued. People can still try and twist them, but he tries to put his words out there to preempt any twisting of his words. Like, for example, in this press conference ahead of this match against Argentina, there were a lot of questions relating to the All Blacks of both him and Sasha Feinberg-Ngomazulu, who was alongside him at the press conference, like asking Sasha, how's it going to be to play the All Blacks? These guys are saying, look, we've got a test up against Argentina this Saturday. We don't want to be answering questions about the All Blacks. I'll still answer your question. He's trying not to hurt the feelings of the journalist, which is more than a lot of coaches would do. A lot of coaches would just give you a quick dismissal, and then the journalist, who's also a human, would feel pretty stink to have been shut down by a top player or a top coach. But they still answered the questions, but only after prefacing it and giving the proper respect to the team who they are facing this Saturday in Argentina. So I thought, I don't know, it's an interesting example of how to, I guess, do a press conference pretty well. I thought that they did a good job of keeping everybody happy, because not everybody spares the feelings of the journalists. And if you do follow the sometimes loaded questions the journalists ask you, you can get yourself into a bit of hot water as people twist what you were saying. For the team itself, sorry, I've gone on a bit of a tangent there. For the team itself, the injury brigade who are back, it's a long list. But I mean, Eben and Lutz back in the second row, that's cracking news. That's like a blast from the past. Like that was such a inseparable duo of Rassie's Springboks, especially in the early days. They are back, starting both guys back from injury. Rassie said these guys are not going to play 80 minutes, but they'll get what they can out of them. And he talked a lot about match fitness, settling players in, like the ones who are maybe not the regular starters. And he's not worried about the margin for this game. Obviously, they want to win the game. He was very at pains to point that as well. But yeah, getting these guys back and match fit is certainly going to be a good bit of news for the Boks. Here, Khaleesi's back. He's alongside a couple of guys at the other end of the experience scale with Lowe and Honeycomb alongside him. So that's going to be that must be the first time we've seen that back row from the Springboks. So good news there. Sasha's back at 10. That's great news. I mean, he gets a lot of the spotlight put on him already. Selfishly, I am very pleased to see him get a match before the All Black series, because when he got injured not that long ago, I was pretty gutted that he might be in danger for the All Blacks, but, because I want to see this guy play in the All Blacks, so him getting game in is cracking. He was really hard on himself in the press conference as well, saying, he didn't play that well the last time they played Argentina, when people were trying to boost his ego up with a really kind of leading question, but he was like, no. I still need to grow my game. I still need to improve. I'm not competing with 100 Pollard. He's my friend. He's my mentor. All this kind of stuff. Spoke really well for a young man. He's very mature. Ethan Hook is another guy back from injury. Andre Hesnason's back from injury. Kaden Moody, I think, is also back from injury. Hondre's on the bench. Morne van der Berg's on the bench. Goodness me, there's a lot of guys who just will benefit from extra game time, whilst still being able to put out a team which is going to be competitive over in Argentina. Some of the guys I'm also happy for, the likes of Bonfenta to get in the start, Johan Grobbelaar to get another start, Honeycomb and Lowe, as I mentioned already. Zach Porthen will get some more experience from the bench, BJ Dixon from the bench, so Corbus Visa. So it's a nice squad for the Boks to be able to put out, A, the guys who are back from injury, and B, some of the guys who, as I said, aren't maybe the first choice guy in their position, if you can get a read on who the first choice guy is these days. But yeah, guys who will benefit certainly from starting a test match in a hostile environment against a top team who will be better for this game. 6-2 split, get some match fitness in, win the game is obviously what they think they, that's the obvious, goes without saying kind of goal, but then get the match fitness, get some combinations going, not too worried about the margin, and then get to the All Blacks when it is time. But this is the first one for the Boks. Remember, it's a very different road to this greatest rivalry because the All Blacks have got a bunch of, prep games for this tour, which I think we kind of need from an All Blacks point of view, seeing as our coach has only just been appointed. But yeah, the Boks, I think, also likewise need this game to get guys back match fit, to get some combinations going. And then they get to prep for that first test in a few weeks against the All Blacks. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts on the upcoming match against the Pumas. Like I said, we'll do a full match preview once the Pumas team comes out with the margins and the recent history and some stats and whatnot. But that's the first impressions of the squad. I think you'd be pretty happy to see the guys coming back from injury get some game time into their legs now, despite the extra travel. And yeah, they'll be favourites for it. You guys let us know your thoughts. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.